Yo, what's up? How old are you?
I'm 20.
And what's your birth year?
July 14th, 2005.
Okay. And if you could go back in time, you could either vote for Donald Trump or Kamala Harris. Who would you rather vote for?
Donald Trump, but I just wanted your opinion on
Okay.
DEI.
Huh?
Do you support
We'll,
DEI?
we'll do that in a second. Fam Cam, thank you so
Okay.
much for the $20 on YouTube Super Chat. Thank you so much. I really appreciate it, Fam Cam.
Are we
Why'd
just
you
gonna go
just.
on like 50 lists of names who donated to you?
Dude, why are you so angry? I said thank you to one person. Chill out, dude. Fam Cam, thank you for the $20 again on YouTube Super Chat. Thank you so much. I really appreciate it. Thank you. Thank you so much for the fake money. I really appreciate it. Thank you. KJ as well. Thank you for the heart signal. I really appreciate it. Thank you. And then, yeah, I think I'm fully caught up. Let me make sure I'm fully caught up real quick. Give me 1 second.
Yeah, you
Make
got it.
sure. Just give me 1 second. It's okay. Just breathe.
Okay.
Tiffany, thank you for the $5 again. Thank you. ZMC, thank you so much for the $2. I really appreciate it. Thank you. Kiri again with the $2 as well. Thank you. I think I'm fully caught up. Alrighty. So, yeah, well,
Alright.
you asked me about DEI. Do I support DEI? Yeah, I think DEI is cool. DIA, actually.
Okay, so wouldn't you like hire someone for a job if they meet the criterias of, their education rather based on their race?
So DEI doesn't just only apply in the context of race. And DEI A doesn't necessarily mean that you're just giving them the job because of that. Someone still has to meet the qualifications necessary for the job. It's just that you extend the interview pool.
Okay, so like what about the pilot industry of they said they're gonna hire more African Americans than whites? Isn't that kind of like reverse like
That's
racism?
actually not true. There's nowhere it said that specifically in any of those airline industries where they said that they were going to hire
It
more people who are African American than who classify as white. There's not a
that's
single
DEI.
scenario where that has happened.
That's DEI. How's that not DEI?
DEI would be diversity, equity, inclusion, and accessibility. In this
Yeah,
circumstance,
I know what it means.
that isn't even what was the policies. Like, and by the way, those are private companies as well.
So if you said that we were gonna, let's say like five people that were like, let's say Asian, and then five people that were Hispanic, and they said we're only gonna hire Asians, but the Hispanics met the criteria better than the um Asians. So how is that not like racism right there? Because they're doing it based on their
That's you
race.
don't know what DEIA is. That's not what DEIA is.
It's a real life thing that was used in the
Hey,
pilot industry.
hey,
They
dude,
said that they're gonna hire
tell me one company that did that.
one company.
Yeah.
I can't tell you, but it was the pilot industry.
So yeah, give me one company within
You're
that
familiar with
industry.
the
Give me one company within that industry in which this was applicable to.
Are you familiar of what Charlie Kirk said about it?
Yeah, and I don't think that he was making justified assertions about it. And also, I don't think you should get your information
How's
from
that?
Charlie Kirk. I don't think he's a valid source.
How is he not a valid source? So like
Because
turning the
he
whole
would say
Pennsylvania
things
state
he
to
would say
Republicans
things
not
all
a,
the he would say things all the time that were totally incorrect. You can watch my debate against him on Tubilee. Well, originally Jubilee, but the one on politics is on Tubilee, where I literally debunk so many of his statements. Would you like me to play a clip of literally him just like making lies up over and over and over again?
no
I'll play it right now. Do you want to
no.
hear it?
I'm just saying like diversity, equity. I want to talk about DEI.
Yeah, and I talked to him about DEIA and as well, and I literally showed him that he actually supported that within the context of the our governmental system.
Okay,
He
but do I
literally
support with
supports
it? Do I support it?
DEIA for small states and rural populations.
Okay, but like, why are we talking? I'm talking about me. I just used him for an example of the pilot industry one. Like,
Yeah,
I don't
but
know
you
why you're
couldn't
bringing
name
it
a
up. Like,
single
what he
business in
thinks.
which that was applicable to because you just were regurgitating something that Charlie Kirk said. And you weren't actually like repeating something that you knew or had any understanding of. And this is the issue with just listening to things and then not going into them and looking them up and critically thinking about it. You're just regurgitating
Okay,
information.
so
You're not actually understanding it. There's a difference between memorizing something and understanding the concept behind it, but rather than just memorizing it. Okay, there's a distinction between those things. You have to critically think about it. You have to
yeah.
understand it, and you have to actually analyze and self-introspect on your own perspectives in order for them to have legitimate basis to it. Otherwise, you're just going to be saying random shit. Like, I'm serious.
Okay, okay. So, okay, let me see. Okay, fair. About going back to DEI. So let's say like 10 people that are like back to my example, and they said that we're gonna hire more race of this certain race, and that's what it is. It's they hire race to get them a better opportunity. Correct?
Hey, can you give me one Democratic DEIA policy that you disagree with? That like a Democratic candidate for president supports?
What do you mean?
Can you name one example of a DEIA policy that a Democratic candidate running for president supported?
That's not my that's not my question at all. Like, why are you right? Why are you pivoting?
This isn't me pivoting. This is me wrapping it into the topic. Can
I
you
I,
mention any of the DEIA
I know, but
policies
I'm
that you
asking you
disagree
a
with?
question. You just like didn't answer.
I did. I've answered this question multiple times.
Okay, I asked you the question. You just went saying which one did you support from a candidate? I'm not talking about a candidate, dude.
Because I had already answered the question you asked. If you would like to ask it again, because you can't
Okay,
respond to
so
any of my points, go for it. But I'll answer it again after I've already answered it.
okay, diversion, equity, and inclusion is
Diversion,
they do
diversity.
a specific inclusion.
Diversity, equity, inclusion, and accessibility. Okay, what was the point you were asking?
Okay, the point is to give a certain racial or gender a better opportunity for a job. Correct?
Yeah, so if people historically speaking, a part of certain groups or communities have had reduction in their access to certain types of community fields or industries or positions of power, yes, I think that DEIA is important for diversity, equity, inclusion, and accessibility for marginalized communities, getting an equal opportunity as everyone else.
Okay, but why are they getting? Why are they getting? They're technically getting a better opportunity because they can't do as good a job as someone that is actually professionalized in that area. Just
But
because they don't have an opportunity, they're not as smart as the person that can do it.
as
Yes, that is
smart?
true.
No, 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 no. There's not a distinction in how smart they are. They have the same qualifications. They're just less likely to be hired because of certain types of practices that have existed historically, certain types of biases that have existed historically. So obviously, this has been applicable and useful throughout the context of history. Do you not support any DEIA?
So, so just because they didn't have an opportunity means they should just be hired.
No, no, listen, you're misunderstanding. It's increasing the interview pool so that people specifically can go through the interview process and can get access to jobs at a greater extent if they are qualified. But the qualifications have to be present. Like in order for people to get into the pilot industry, right? Like to be able to fly, they have to get a license.
Do
They have to fly on their own and rack up a certain amount of miles. They have to have the legitimate qualifications in order to be able to fly in the first place. It's not people that have no understanding of flying that are just being put into a position of being a pilot. You're misunderstanding these points in general.
no, okay, yeah, I get what you mean. So if they both have the same qualifications, right? But they're the other person is more likely to get hired just because of their race.
No,
That's what
they're
point I'm
not
trying to
more
make.
likely. There's an equal likelihood of them getting hired based upon
You literally just said earlier
DEIA.
that they
Listen, you're not understanding. DEIA is giving people equal and equitable basis of opportunity in interviews, not just saying that people get these positions because of their race, their sex, or gender, or whatever you're particularly referencing. It's
yeah.
that they get into these positions because they're qualified and they have been given the opportunity as everyone else. They have the same opportunity as everyone else. When we're talking about equity, that means that we are trying to put everyone on an equal playing field in terms of opportunity, right? Not in terms of
Mhm.
outcome. We're saying in terms of opportunity, right? And that doesn't mean that we boost everyone up, give them the exact same amount. That means that based upon the different conditions for different communities, there's going to be a difference in how much accessibility we need to create to a greater extent, right? So it's predicated off of what is the amount of access opportunity other people have gotten versus this particular community based upon the fact that this community has been marginalized. And then you're saying, what can we do to make it
What
so
do you mean
there
by
isn't?
marginalized?
Yeah, so again, like throughout the context of history, women have been not allowed into certain positions of power, certain industries, just based upon them being women. Women have been marginalized throughout the context of history. Was it relevant to engage in DEIA policy to allow for women to get the same access and opportunity as men? Historically
They
speaking,
do
by the
have.
way.
They already have
Listen,
the same
listen,
access and opportunity.
historically speaking, did you support it?
Support what? The wait. Say that
DEIA
again.
for women. Did you support it historically speaking? like in the
Yeah,
past?
they should
Versus
obviously
14.
have an equal.
So wait, you do support
No, no,
DEIA?
no, I believe that women should have an equal part and like opportunity and stuff like that. But
So
I'm
you believe
saying
in DEIA?
just because they are no. Just like you're trying to like mix up my words here. They should already have that opportunity. They shouldn't just be lifted all the way up just because of DIA. I mean, they have to do the as good as job as a man can do if they're doing it. Like, you can't just say they're a woman, oh, they should have the job.
They
Correct?
can do as good of a job as a man. They just were not allowed to get that
Well,
opportunity. So what we're
what are the
trying to do is
statistics on
increase
that?
the amount of opportunities so there's an equal basis for opportunity for men and women. Do you understand that what we're trying to do here? We're trying to equalize opportunity, right, for people. We're not saying that you just get into the position because of this particular factor of you. We're saying that historically speaking, because you are not allowed in this position because of this particular factor or because you're a part of this community, we are going to get rid of that limitation. That's all DEIA is doing, is it's getting rid of the limitations that have historically existed for certain communities. Okay, so you don't actually disagree with it. You, historically speaking, have agreed with DEIA in relation to women, as it's been beneficial specifically for allowing for women who have been marginalized in the context of like the labor
Yeah,
industry, right, to get into the labor industry into a greater
like
circumstance
historically speaking, yes,
in situations in which they're qualified, right? As do men,
yes,
right? It's the same
but it's
same
different.
standard. Does that make sense?
It's not the same standard.
It is. That's what we're saying. That
Okay.
that's the
And
goal of what we're.
today
Listen,
is completely different
the
from.
goal of DEIA is to make sure that there's an equitable amount of opportunity for everyone.
Okay, but like that's different. If you go back 100 years, women didn't even have the like right to vote. Like that's completely different. But like nowadays, everybody has the same opportunities, so that's why we should get rid of DEI. Everybody has the same, not maybe the education, but I feel like you should be
So no,
always
you're just wrong.
judged based on how good of a job you do and how.
I'm sorry, but you're wrong. There is not the same level of opportunity right now. That is just not true. There have been so many different studies that I can show you where there is not the exact same amount of opportunity. So these are just applied in circumstances to make sure that there is the same opportunity. If you don't disagree with equalizing opportunities for people, not just saying that you get into this position because of a certain characteristic of you, but you get into the position because you're qualified, right? Do you agree with that? Do you agree with equalizing opportunities?
Okay, but like tell me how we equalize these
I want you to answer the
opportunities
question.
though.
Do you agree with equalizing
Yes.
Okay, so then
Yeah,
you
yeah.
agree with DEIA at least to some extent. So then now what you need to tell me is what
Eh,
DEIA policy that the Democratic candidates supported that you disagree with. And if you can't mention a single one, it's just a buzzword to you.
Okay. It's not dude. It's not a buzzword, man.
Then
I mean,
mention a single
you
Democratic
went back
candidate that advocated for a certain policy that's DEIA that you disagree with.
I can't think off the top of my head of a specific
Then it's a buzzword to
area
you.
about it.
It is a
But the amount
buzzword that you just heard from
but
Charlie Kirk. You
it's
didn't actually do any research into it. You don't actually know what you're disagreeing with.
I did
You are
research.
just disagreeing with it because conservatives have said it was bad. It's a buzzword to you. There's no basis in you disagreeing with it.
It's
Why'd you come up on my live stream to talk about something that you've done no research into? That makes no sense. Why would you do that? You
I
went on
I,
a live with 10,000 people.
I've done my research.
No, you didn't. You couldn't name a single Democratic policy that you disagree with that they support.
I'm talking about the general like the policy about it. Like the DEIA is just like completely wrong. Do you want me to give you a certain policy? You want me to
Yes,
look at
give it.
a certain
Give.
policy?
Yeah, no. Have you? You said you already did research. So what policy do you already know you disagree with? And if you can't mention one, again, it's just a buzzword to you. It's just a vibe to you. There's no specific basis to anything. It's just a feeling to you.
How is it a buzzword if I know what the word means and that it is you? It's not
How?
like
How
they
is
were
it a
used
buzzword?
in the debate.
Because you don't even know how
If
it's
I
been
know what it
applied that you disagree with. You're saying it as this big bad thing that you disagree with, but you don't even know what specifically you disagree with. You came up on my live to say that you support Trump because of this, but you can't mention a single DEI policy that the Democrats support as a reason as to why you disagree with them and agree with the Republicans like Donald Trump. It makes no sense.
Well, I didn't come on here to name a policy, dude.
You came on here to talk about DEIA and you don't even know what policy you're referencing. What do you mean you didn't come on here to talk about policy? You
I
came on a
disagree with it
wait,
in
listen.
general.
You came on a political live to not talk about policy. Do you realize how incoherent that is? Do you realize how everyone here is laughing at you because of that? That's embarrassing. Why would you go
Well,
on
I
a
mean, most of
political
them are just
live
grifters,
about?
just getting you
Oh,
money.
now you're just mad. You're gonna call us grifters because I've debunked you and you have no actual
You
response.
haven't debunked me.
That's so embarrassing. You got completely debunked, and you just called me a grifter because I debunked you
Just
so
because I don't
badly.
know a policy? Come
Yeah,
on, dude. Just
yeah,
because I don't know a policy?
yeah, but
And
yeah,
now I'm
you
debunked.
called me a grifter because you have no explanation because you got intellectually dog walked.
I didn't get dog walked by anything. I'm
You
just
did.
saying you should be judged based on how good of a job you do better than opportunity. Let's just give everybody an opportunity and see what
Yeah, and
happens.
we're
I mean, like I
advocating
don't
for
get
that
it.
too. We're just advocating to get rid of said limitations that have restricted people in certain communities from being viewed in that particular way, in which they do have an equal opportunity. That's what you're not understanding.
Shouldn't you be judged based on how base of a good job you do though? Like think like why not
Yes.
just judge based off of that?
Yes. That's what we are judging based upon. That's what we want people to be judging based upon. But the issue
So
is
then why are we
because of
funding all of
listen,
this
listen,
stuff?
because of biases that exist in our society that have been passed down due through education and society that's existed that's been bad, that has led to these negative impacts happening and people not being viewed the same based upon their evaluation of qualities. We're saying we want them to be evaluated just based upon their qualities, but right now they're not being evaluated based upon their qualities because of again these certain biases that exist that have been passed down.
Okay, so like how okay, let's think about it this way. How much money will we have to fund for all these people to come in and do interviews and all of this stuff? And how crowded would they
Wait,
really
these
be?
are
I
private
mean, if we just
company
give every
the only policy you brought up was a private company's policy. Why do you care about the cost? You don't give a shit. It's not like it's not your
why do,
cost. You're not internalizing that cost.
well, it's
That's
not your
making
cost
it worse
either.
off for you at all.
It's the viewers' cost. I mean, they're paying you, but
No, what do you mean the viewers cost? People decide to give me money? What? Well, I'm confused how that's relevant to the private companies engaging in DEI policy. What are you talking about?
I'm just saying they give you money. But I'm
What
what's
is
funny,
this guy
dude?
saying, bro? Like,
What's funny?
how this name a single Trump policy that he influenced to get passed that you like.
What'd you say?
Name a single Trump policy that he influenced to get passed that you like.
The tax cut, definitely.
The Tax Cuts and Jobs Act or the Big Beautiful Bill. Name one provision within
Yeah.
the Big Beautiful Bill that you like.
The tips. They don't tax the tips.
Okay, the deduction on no tax on tips. Fair.
Yes.
Okay. What if I told you that the overall Big Beautiful Bill, most of the tax cuts go to rich and wealthy individuals, and that Kamala Harris supported keeping all of the tax cuts applicable to income earners
Just
under
because
$400,000 a year, which includes the no tax on tips policy that she also advocated for.
so taxing everybody less is just helping the rich. How does that make sense if everybody else is getting their taxes cut down?
Because what you're not understanding is Kamala Harris would have kept all the tax cuts applicable to income earners under $400,000 a year and would have only increased taxes on income over $400,000 a year. And she also wanted to impose greater tax cuts for working class Americans, such as the increase the child tax credit to $6,000 for the first year of a child's life, $3,600 through them being 5 years old, $3,000 through them being 18, a $25,000 tax credit for first-time home buyers for new homes, which would decrease your taxes. She also supported the no tax on tips deduction, which just reduces the taxable income.
So tell me how they went up during the Biden administration. How does that make any sense? If you're just naming all this stuff off and
How do you
Kamala
think
Harris
taxes?
says
Wait, so taxes went up under Biden's administration? Is that what you just said?
yes, the income tax did.
That's Trump's tax plan. We were under Trump's tax plan, so you're blaming Trump's tax plan.
So big beautiful bill is just
It was the Tax Cuts and Jobs Act. The Big Beautiful Bill was passed here in 2025. The original policy was through the TCJA. It was Trump's tax plan that you were just blaming the Democrats for.
So how do we compare the income tax compared to 2016, 2023, and now?
Yeah, how do you the income tax again? Kamala
Which
Harris
one's
was
lower?
the income tax. The income tax is the same bracket since Trump's first term for lower income individuals. The difference is the difference specifically is the tariffs have been implemented, which cause an increase in taxes for you and for everyone because they buy consumer products, and you spend a greater proportion of your income on consumer products.
If we buy products
than the
from
top
those
1%.
tariff countries.
Listen. You do. You definitely do. And many of the materials that people
Me
use to
personally, I
even
don't.
produce goods in the United States do come from countries around the world. You said you don't buy goods from other countries? That's BS. Right. Secondly, if there's a
I
reduction
make
in the
my own
level of
clothes.
supply, that also affects American made goods as well. And it will increase the cost for them as well because
The
there's a
reason
reduction in the overall supply, which increases the price given the same demand.
the reason of all these tariffs is to make American more independent and more self reliant on each other. To make like I don't get what you're trying to say. If we're more reliant on ourselves and we buy other stuff from America, wouldn't that be a lot better than trying to buy it from China and getting tariffed
So the
or
issue
whatever, Mexico or wherever?
the issue is it doesn't make us more self-reliant because one, we've seen actually a decline in real domestic manufacturing investment in this country since Trump got in office, and that's because it increases the cost of domestic manufacturing in this country, therefore disincentivizing it because many of the aspects of the production process, such as materials, come from countries around
Well,
the
it's not going to
world.
happen overnight,
Listen,
Parker.
listen, listen, which causes the price to go up and makes it less reliable to produce products here in the United States. Secondly, what doesn't make us more self-reliant is when Donald Trump cuts the investments in renewable energy production in this country, and it makes us more dependent on foreign nations for energy. And that's why right now Trump is trying to start conflict with Venezuela because he wants their oil.
He doesn't want their oil. They're sending
Yes, he
drug
does.
boats in here, man.
DRUG boats. And by the way, most of the DRUGs are not coming from Venezuela. They typically are sending the DRUG boats that are particularly referencing go to Europe and Africa. And there have been conditions in which, again, no evidence has been given to Congress they had DRUGs in the first place, right? And by the way, the DRUGs that are coming from there, by the way, you can't say the specific DRUG names, are CDRUG and MDRUG. MDRUG is legal in many states here in this country. I love it. It's amazing. They should bring more. Now, if you're talking CDRUG, again, you can detain them once they get to U.S. waters, and you can literally ensure that that is not brought to the country. Secondly, Trump literally pardoned a CDRUG trafficker, right? A convicted one. The ex-Honduran president was a convicted sea drug trafficker. Donald Trump pardoned them. So Donald Trump pardoned a quote-unquote narco-terrorist under your own view.
Okay, so look, I mean, that's just going to go over your head. But we're not going to notice how we send sex traffickers and everything back to their country, though. You're not going to recognize that. You're going to recognize one of those. And
Wait,
drug boats actually
repeat
kill
what you just
3,000
said?
Americans per drug boat. So
Wait, repeat what you just said?
you're about, oh my God, here we go down this rabbit hole. I'm saying that Trump has sent back sex traffickers, or DRU dealers. Has he not? Yes or no?
Wait, if we're talking about off the coast of
One in four
Venezuela, they
immigrants that
bombed
come
them.
across the border. Who?
Trump bombed boats off the coast of Venezuela, and in some of these circumstances, in one of the circumstances actually, they ordered.
So there were Venezuelan boats.
Listen, they ordered a strike on a boat in which it was disabled, not going to the United States, didn't have enough gas to make it to the United States. They surrendered. There was no reason to do that. In that circumstance, actually, because the boat was capsized, right, and they were trying to get on it and sliding off for like 45 minutes, in that scenario, you're supposed to rescue them. And they ordered
The
the
United
kill.
States is not responsible to rescue them.
They are. They actually, that's the U.S. way, is to rescue them in that scenario.
No, it's not.
Yes, it is.
Why do we care about what other countries doing? In that case, let's go save every other country. Like what?
Wait, what do you mean? What?
You think
why are
Venezuela
we-
would
why-
save us?
You just said, why are we caring what they're doing? So then why are we blowing them up?
Because it's killing 3,000 Americans per drug boat.
You can prevent that from happening just by detaining them once they get to U.S. waters. Why do you have to murder them to prevent it?
They're gonna come here and murder us, but we should let them on the land and then detain them.
No, I said
That's your plan?
I said detain them in U.S. waters. If you listen to what I said.
Well, that's why Trump's a better leader because he says if you come over here, you're getting killed. I mean, as simple as that.
That makes no sense to
He's
do.
putting them in their place right away.
That makes no sense to do because one, there was not verifiable evidence that they had DRUGS in the first place. Two, even if they did, that's not reason to murder them. Again, it's reason to detain them, not to murder them.
So they can murder Americans, but we can't murder them. That's your logic.
Well, I don't believe in the death penalty. I believe that we should put people in prison who murder people. We don't murder them. Okay? But if they're an active threat to someone, that would make sense. In this scenario, they're not an active threat. You can detain them without them murdering anyone.
Yeah, but like that puts more seriousness on the United States not to come near here. Because there's some drug boats that we don't
What?
even know of that are coming by here. And what do you mean? What? It puts a serious. It shows America how strong we really are by saying if you come over here, then you're getting killed. That's just like
That's not a
American.
good
That's
thing.
that's
That's not
what
the
it's,
American way. The American way is to ensure, one, that they've committed a crime. Two, is to give them due process if they've committed said crime. Let them go in front of a judge, right? Let them go through the court system. And then we verify whether or not they've committed a crime. We don't just extrajudicially murder people in scenarios in which we're not at war, right? In international waters where there's no reason that they would be able to get to the country, right? If we could just detain them. We have the ability to detain them. There's no limitation for us detaining them.
see,
We
man.
should
Like
do that in that
I
scenario.
like.
We are different than our enemies, and you should at least be able to say that. You could say other people might murder people in this scenario, but that does not mean that we should do that. Okay? You have to realize that there is a standard. There is an ethical standard that we should pride ourselves on where we actually care about this. And if you continue to normalize a lack of such ethical standard, it's only going to erode how we treat everyone around the world and our image abroad. Our image abroad is already dog shit because of the evil shit that our country has done historically speaking. Let's change that. Let's actually be the fucking beacon of hope that we fucking were taught as kids we actually were. That's what we were taught. Let's actually be that. Let's live by an ethical standard. Let's not just fucking blow people up for no reason. That's not the American way. And if you think that's the American way, well, then you're defining the American way in a manner in which I don't want to be associated with. I'm serious.
Okay, so I like your sympathy and how emotional you are for it. But if somebody's gonna come over here and try to threaten our country, we should
Detain
we
them.
should let that stop. No, we should just
Detain
let
them.
that
You
stop.
don't extrajudicially drone strike them with no evidence given to Congress that they had DRUGS in the first place. One, you have to accuse people of crimes. Two, you have to have evidence. Three, you don't murder them. Four, you detain them. Five, in some of these scenarios, they literally were not even coming to the United States. They didn't have enough gas to make it to the United States. If they
Well,
couldn't
what was
even
it?
make it here, why are you blowing up their boat?
What about the other? What about the other half that was going straight for
Wait, no.
America?
Address what I said and then we can talk about it. And I already
Okay, go
told you,
ahead.
detain them once they get to
Oh,
U.S. waters.
okay, so we can detain them, and so America has to put up with them. We have to
Yes.
feed them in jail.
Yes.
Okay.
That's the American way.
So let's put them in jail. They get out, and let's just let them do the same thing over and over.
No,
So it's
no,
just
no,
a
no.
cycle.
No, let them go through the process. If they have actually committed that crime, if they were trying to bring DRUGS to the country that can actually harm Americans, like such as the sea drug, then there is reason to
Yes.
convict them. Okay? But Donald Trump is pardoning them. Donald Trump pardoned a CDRUG trafficker, right? Because of probably a political favor. Okay? The ex-Honduran president, right, was convicted of trafficking sea drug, and Donald Trump pardoned them. So you can't simultaneously say we should murder them and then also pardon them. Like, what? That doesn't make any sense.
Bro, I think it all goes down to morality right here at this point. I mean, you don't want to. You said that we should detain them. We should put up with them. We should use our own money to feed them, and then send them back where they
How much?
came
Do you know
from.
it costs money to drone strike them? You're saying we should use our own money to drone strike them? Do you have any evidence that drone striking them is cheaper?
Um, they're not going to come back again. I'll
Do
tell
you
you
know how
that.
much those missiles cost?
And probably like $10,000 per go, I guess.
I think it's
But
more
our
than
defense budget
$10,000.
is really
I
high.
think it's a
So
lot more than $10,000 to literally blow them up.
what's our defense? What's our defense budget, Parker?
It's $900 billion plus. And if you're saying now we have so
Okay,
much money to
so
do that, well, then can't we use that money in order to defend the country and ensure that we can detain them? So now money is not an issue whenever we're talking
using
about
missile strikes
So, by
against
the way,
drug boats.
money's not an issue when talking about missile striking them, but it's an issue when talking about detaining them.
Actually, yeah.
That doesn't make any sense. That's obviously absurd.
How many people would we have to?
Here, I have a few
Uh,
people to
it-
thank.
it
real
just
quick.
goes down to
I have a
morality,
few
dude.
people to thank real quick. Rachel, thank you so much for the $5. I really appreciate it. Thank you so much, of course. Thank you. Kenzie, thank you for the $5 as well. Gladys, thank you so much. Really appreciate the $25. Thank you so much, Gladys. I really appreciate it. Mark with the $10. Thank you so much. I really appreciate it. Thank you. Yes, Lily, thank you so much. I really appreciate it. Thank you. I did see that. Thank you. I really appreciate it. Thank you. I have some people to thank on YouTube real quick. Thank you everyone for supporting the grift. I really appreciate it. Thank you so much, Luke. Thank you for the $5. I really appreciate it. Thank you, literally though. Too Tall, thank you so much for the $5. Tiffany, thank you for the $2. Zach with the $20. Thank you so much. I really appreciate it, Zach. Thank you. No, seriously though. Definitely. They definitely deserved a 0. Kiri, thank you so much for the $2. AJ, thank you for the $5. Thank you so much. I really appreciate it. Thank you. I'll have to ask. Michael, thank you so much for the $20. I really appreciate it. Thank you so much, Michael. I really appreciate the $20. Thank you so much. ZMC, thank you so much for the $2. Luke, thank you for the $5. Thank you. Caleb, thank you so much for the $40. I really appreciate you with some W's for Caleb in the comment section right now. Thank you so much. And Luke with the $5. Thank you so much. I really appreciate it. Thank you. Alrighty. So, go back to what your point was other than saying that I'm a grifter.
You are.
That was just like a point for deflection. Like, let's be real here.
Okay.
Can you define grifter for me, actually?
Do you think Dean uses the vape?
You can't say that on live. Do you think that? Can you tell me? Can you answer my question? What does it mean to be a grifter?
No, you just sit on live and debate random people and then get like a lot of money, get off, and then go with your daily life, and come back on when you need more money.
That's not what grifting means.
What does it mean then? Since you know, I think you know.
Yeah, I do. So it's dishonestly
Because you
holding
did
a
it.
certain position in order to gain something from it, whether it be money, attention, other things like that. So you would have to say that I'm a supporter of Trump.
That's exactly what I just said.
No, it's not what you just said. You would have to say I'm a supporter of Trump in order to be able to claim that I'm a grifter, which would be absurd. I'm clearly, definitely not a supporter of Trump. Okay? If you're saying I do this for money...
So just because you're not a Trump supporter doesn't make you a grifter?
No shit, this is my job. Are you a grifter because you have a job? Wait, so people who do their jobs for money, are they grifters?
You're grifting because you like. Okay, no.
No, I'm just
people that
answering the
jobs
question.
they work hard for their money. You just
So
sit here.
Your parents
you
who
sit here.
work jobs for money, are they grifters? Are your parents grifters?
No, they're hardworking. You just sit here
so
and
I
just
can say the same
like,
thing. Grace, thank you for the racing debut. I think I'm pretty hardworking.
Bro, that was like $50, and you just said thanks.
John, thank you for the $5. Thank you.
Okay.
Yes, I said thank you. Of course, I'm going to say thank you.
Okay, well, whatever.
Polar,
I'm
thank
gonna
you
let
so
you
much
get
for the $10. I really appreciate it. Thank you so much, Polar. Again, you didn't.
Hey,
So again,
I'm
you
gonna-
said doing things for money means you are grifting, and then you just contradicted yourself by saying that your parents doing things for money is not grifting. So the point that I would make here is that you're just saying this because you're jealous and you wanted to pivot away from the conversation because I debunked you. I destroyed your argument.
You just asked me what I was. You didn't debunk nothing, dude.
Yes, I did. This whole time I've been debunking your position. Libby, thank you for the $15 for I hate my job. I pretend to like it. I must be a grifter. Literally. Heather, thank you for the membership subscription. Thank you.
Gosh, I have 7,000 people coming at me right now, man.
Okay. So do you want to...
Would you say Democratic? Would you say the Democratic Party is like love and accepting?
I would say the Democratic Party is more loving and accepting than the Republican Party. Absolutely.
What's that one group? What's that one group called? Antifa? Is that what it's called?
Are you Antifa?
Oh yeah, I forgot about that.
Are you Antifa?
No, I'm not Antifa.
You're not? So are you neutral or pro-fascism?
No, I'm saying no. I'm saying that they do harmful things during their protests.
Can you answer my question? Are you neutral or pro-fascism? Because you said you're not anti-fascist. So are you pro or neutral on fascism?
Like I just like no. That's not my point though, man.
Wait, are you anti-fascism?
Dude, obviously I don't like fascism.
So you're against fascism, right? So you're Antifa.
No. I'm not Antifa because I don't go around and
you just said
assault
that you're
police
against
officers
you
and
just said
do harm to
wait, that's not what Antifa means.
Listen what I'm saying.
Antifa just means that you're against fascism. I'm Antifa, you're Antifa, we're all Antifa, and if you're Antifa, then you're against Donald Trump.
No. That's not that. Donald Trump's not a fascist. Let me say one thing. You're not letting me speak, Parker.
Do you want to tell me what do you think fascism is?
Grifter, dude.
What do you think fascism
let me.
is?
Can I like say my point, man?
Yeah,
You're just gonna keep interrupting
tell me what fascism is.
No, before I say my point, because you interrupted me like a minute ago. Okay, so Antifa is like, how many arrests did we have in one protest? I think it was about like 26 people that like I think like 10 or 14 of them had like assault against a police officer. Um, um, there was a couple. There was a couple more about like there were criminal records and criminal charges on them because of the harmful things they did. How is that loving and accepting?
What?
Because they just
Okay.
sound like
So I
it's
wouldn't
like I'm
brand
confused.
I wouldn't brand people who have committed violence as everyone, specifically who would be on the left. That doesn't make any sense, as you could make the same point specifically about the January 6th violent rioters, and then brand all Republicans and MAGA supporters as domestic terrorists, because the domestic
Okay,
terrorists who beat police officers and were pardoned by Donald Trump did so on January 6th. So you see how that's not a
okay,
good
so you cannot
argument?
say no. It is a good argument because so you cannot say that the left is more accepting than the right because we both do bad things.
No, I just think that specifically the right does the bad to a significantly greater extent. Like for example, they commit more violence. They have more violent rhetoric. Like Trump has explicitly himself called for the execution of some Democrats who just said not to abide by unlawful orders.
Yeah, but you can't say one is more accepting than the other if they both do bad.
What? Yes, you can. You can because
There's
you
either a
have a
good or a bad
hey,
side.
dude, you have a difference in the level of bad. Also, again, just because people do bad things on your side does not
It's
mean that
still
you are
bad,
account.
man.
Listen, just because people did bad things on your side does not mean that you support those bad things. Okay,
Yeah, exactly.
that is a ridiculous assertion. So if you said it exactly, so then why are you saying that everyone who is anti-fascist or against fascism is described specifically by some people who consider themselves anti-fascism who committed certain acts of violence? That is obviously not a good argument because you could say the same thing for people who are on the right. You could say the same thing of any ideological opinion because there are going to be some people of said ideological opinion that have done bad things. That does not mean that everyone of that ideological opinion has that exact same perspective on whether or not the violence is acceptable in terms of promoting that particular opinion. So you understand that this is not a prescription of anything to do with Democrats as a whole.
Well, if you okay, so then why do you come at Republicans for in saying that we do bad stuff too? Like you're
Well,
basically
I
saying that
point
I'm
to
doing
things that
bad
your
stuff too. Like
presidential candidate
like
has
Parker.
done. I point to things that your presidential candidate's done, and I say, do you support this? I'm not pointing towards random people on the right. Okay, I'm pointing
Okay, yeah,
towards
but
the presidential
you have a
candidate.
candidate that went to the Diddy party. I mean, we can keep going back and forth.
Who?
Kamala Harris.
Kamala.
There's a
Kamala.
picture.
Kamala never went to a Diddy party. That's a fucking fake picture, you idiot. What are you talking about? Actually, you know who was
Exactly.
good? You want to know who was good friends with Diddy? Trump. Trump said that Diddy's a good guy. Do you want to hear it?
So Kamala can hang out with him, but
Kamala, by the way.
Trump can. Dude, whatever her name is, I'm gonna call her Harris.
Then do that.
Okay.
So you understand that that picture you're talking about is not even a real picture.
What is
That was a
it?
picture posted on Twitter by conservatives who have photoshopped the picture. This has been fact checked and debunked for years now.
Yeah. Okay. So like, if Trump's such a bad guy, then why did he kick out Epstein out of his public what's it called, nightclub, and then called himself a P3DO?
That's not the explanation that Trump gave. Trump gave an explanation and said that it was because Epstein, quote unquote, stole one of his underage masseuses from Mar-a-Lago, who was a victim of Epstein. That's actually what he said.
No, dude, I mean, it seems like you haven't done your research because it came out of his mouth. He
Yeah,
literally stated that he thinks that he's a creep and he's
yeah,
a weirdo.
yeah. What I'm saying came out of Trump's
So you agree
mouth.
with that?
No, what I'm saying is that this came out of Trump's mouth more recently. What I'm talking about is what he claimed recently is the reason as to why he stopped being friends with Jeffrey Epstein. This is what he said himself. I'm telling you what Trump said.
So is that a bad or a good thing?
What? I'm sorry. It was one. He shouldn't have underage masseuses. That's diabolical.
He didn't.
He did. She was 17 years old.
Has that? But that hasn't been proven.
Yes, it has.
And what
And he
in what
verified
circumstance?
this.
Like, has he been charged with it criminally?
No, he said it, but you wouldn't be charged criminally for that. I'm just saying this is what he said he did
Okay.
himself.
Okay, perfect. So but tell me, answer this question: if he stopped being friends with Epstein, is that good or bad, Parker?
Stopping being friends with Epstein would be good, but I'm telling you,
Okay,
what you're not
perfect.
understanding is that Donald Trump, according to Epstein, knew about everything that was happening. Donald Trump, according to Epstein, was the worst person he'd known. He knew lots of bad people, but he never knew them as bad as Donald Trump. He was best buds with Epstein for over 10 years. He said that he was a quote-unquote terrific guy that likes beautiful women as much as he does, many of them on the younger side. Okay? You understand all of these circumstances, right? And there's even some emails that indicate likely that they could have had 2017 Thanksgiving together. Okay?
Okay, so if Trump is trying to release this himself, then why would he, if he was inside these files, why would he want to release them himself? And then the court deny it? Because Democrats are panicking because they know that he did not do anything bad in those files. If Trump himself said, "Hey, release it, let me see it. There's nothing. I have nothing to hide,"
Trump
and then
only
the court
said
of law
release it.
literally declines it.
I'm sorry, Trump. By the way, you're talking about certain types of grand jury things. That's not what he was talking about. So he was. So listen, you understand that he was trying to limit it from being passed. He even canceled Marjorie Taylor Greene over it. Okay. He was not wanting
I'm not
this to be
familiar
released.
with
He
his-
called it a hoax.
Yeah, but did he not try to release it this year though? Correct? Like, did he not?
No, he has actively tried to limit it from being released. It's soon here going to be
Dude.
released. We're just obviously concerned about whether or not certain parts are going to be redacted, taken out, etc.
Well, I mean, it might be redacted because it was used as evidence in the court of that one.
But that doesn't mean that you should be
particular
redacting
person.
things that relate to Trump.
Yeah, for sure. I would say that there's Democrats wherever they were in New York or the island. There's Democratic candidates that have been proven that were there. Correct?
No, there hasn't been proof yet. But if there was, I would say that we shouldn't support.
There's no
any of
proof
them.
that Trump did all
listen,
this.
Listen, okay? In any of the scenarios in which there's Democrats, I would condemn them. And you should be able to say the exact same thing for the Republicans. Literally,
Yeah, I mean, that's
any
fair.
Democrat on that list, I will not support.
Okay. So if I support a different candidate that was Republican, and Trump, let's say he's vice president, do I support Trump?
If you support a different Republican candidate and they say they support Trump, would that mean you support him?
Yeah.
Not necessarily, but I mean you'd support someone who supports him. But I mean you already said that you support him, so I don't
So if
really
Kamala
ask you.
Harris supported a
Kamala.
candidate that was friends with Epstein, that means you support Epstein, Parker.
What? That makes no sense.
You
Who did
just-
who did
Right.
she support that was friends with Epstein?
Bill Clinton.
Okay. So,
Okay.
if you're saying being friends with Epstein means that you've done something bad, correct?
No. I said that means you
No?
just said. No.
Wait,
We're
you
not
just
gonna
said
do
no.
this.
You just said no. So
Parker.
then this doesn't mean anything bad, right?
No, you said if I support someone that supports Trump, that means I support Epstein. That's what you said. Now, if Kamala
That's
Harris
not what I
supports
said.
Bill Clinton,
That's not what I said.
what'd you say then?
No, I said that you would support the person that supports that person, but that doesn't mean that you necessarily support that third person. You're misunderstanding. I clarified that. You just didn't listen.
You literally said that means that I support that. Like if I support a candidate that
Hey,
is
you
friends
should
with Trump,
go
does that
watch
mean I
back
support
the
Trump?
conversation, because that's not what I said. Your comprehension skills are very bad.
No. So if I support a candidate that's friends with Trump, does that mean I support Trump? Yes or no, Parker?
If you support a candidate that's friends with Trump, does that mean you support Trump? No.
How so?
What? How so? Just because
If
you
I
would
support-
support someone that is friends with another person does not mean that you support the person in which they're friends with.
That means that they have the same idol. I forgot how to pronounce that. They have the same
If you're
characteristics.
arguing-
They
if
have the
you're-
same
wait,
thoughts.
if you're arguing
opinions.
this, then you're saying that you support Jeffrey Epstein. Based
No,
upon
because
your own
Trump-
reasoning,
'cause Trump
based
kicked him
upon your
out.
own reasoning, then you're saying that you support Jeffrey Epstein.
No, I didn't. No, because he stopped being friends with him. He stopped contact with him.
Okay, well, Kamala Harris.
That's what I support about him.
I don't think Kamala Harris is like close friends with Bill Clinton, by the way.
Would you say Kamala Harris supports Bill Clinton though?
Kamala, bro, just say Harris. Jesus Christ, man. It is not
Okay.
difficult to pronounce her name. I don't know why Republicans have such a problem with doing it. Like, seriously, what is your problem? How many times have I told you in this conversation?
I don't mean to.
I understand, but Jesus Christ, dude. Like, it gets to a point, like, if you can't do it, why do you keep saying her name instead of just saying Harris?
If one of your grifters give me $5, I'll pronounce it right.
Shut up. No one's giving you shit. Why do you say that? Like, it's embarrassing. Did you just say that to like, literally try and deflect away from my point?
No.
Like, you literally just bring up grifting whenever you want to, like, pivot. Like, it's so cringe. You're clearly mad when people donate to me. Like, thank you for the hat mustache. I really appreciate it. Blue. Creed, thank you so much. The $2. I really appreciate it. Thank you so much. They said the cheapest missile is 165,000. That's diabolical. RJ, thank you so much. The $5 for the grift money. For some coffee. Thank you so much. Brian, thank you for the $10. I really appreciate it. Thank you so much. Thank you. Thank you so much. Oh, that's so nice. I did Accutane when I was younger, so that's why I have clear skin. I used to have a decent amount of acne. I have some people to thank on YouTube, and then we'll go on and continue the conversation. Luke, thank you for the $5. Paul, thank you for the $14. I really appreciate it. Thank you so much, Paul. Luke, thank you for the $5 as well. Thank you so much. I really appreciate it. Thank you. Tiffany, thank you for the $2 downfall. Thank you for the $10. I really appreciate it. Heather, thank you for the 5 as well. Thank you for the sending the 5 to the caller just begged to you. Oh, thank you so much. You know the one, the $5 that you wanted? They just sent it to me instead.
Yeah.
Thank you very much. Really
wonderful.
Thank you.
That's awesome, dude.
Does that make you sad?
Yeah, you can go buy Dean some babes.
Is that the best you got?
Oh, I wasn't trying to make a comeback. I was just saying.
Seriously, that was the best you got. That's the only thing you could say. You can go get Dean an anxiety pen now.
I beat you in the debate. I have to beat.
Name one point you beat me on, bro. That's embarrassing. Vampire, thank you for the $5. And
That,
DRG, thank you so much. Really
you
appreciate the
support
$5 for the rage bait.
Epstein.
Thank you. That didn't make any sense. That was an incoherent point.
No, it wasn't, because you said
can I
that.
ask you a few questions, yes or no?
He supports Epstein.
Can I ask you a few questions, yes or no?
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay. Would you vote for someone held civilly liable of forcefully penetrating a woman's vagina against her will?
Didn't happen.
No, I'm asking. It's a yes or no question.
You can't give me a yes or no question if it didn't happen.
I asked you, would you vote for someone held civilly liable of forcefully penetrating a woman's vagina against her will? I'm just asking you, yes or no? I said would.
No.
No, you wouldn't? Are you sure?
I would not support them.
Okay. Alrighty. So Donald Trump was held civilly liable of forcefully penetrating E. Jean Carroll's vagina against her will. Therefore, you don't support Trump, correct? And you would not vote for him?
So he was liably?
He was held civilly liable for forcefully penetrating E. Jean Carroll's vagina against her will.
So, whatever her name is, I don't want to pronounce it like I did a Kamalato or.
Kamala. You purposefully just did that. That was purposeful rage bait. It just makes you sound stupid, dude. Like, genuinely. Like, I don't think you know what you're doing. Like, you just genuinely sound stupid.
All right. Okay, so about that Carol girl. So basically, he did not do that. He did not do this. He was liable. He did not get proof of what this happened. She lied about him. She tried to throw him under the bus. He got interviewed about it. People clipped that interview and then said that he did it because he actually didn't. You're gonna play the clip that he always did. That he's in a mic and he's with a room and he's talking about it. You don't look through the whole clip.
No, I'm not.
Yeah, that's true. Where's the evidence?
Name one lie that she engaged in.
Where's the evidence? Because you said forcibly.
I will
So
tell
where's
you.
the
I will tell
bumps
you,
and
but I want
bruises
you
on
to
her
answer-
body?
I will tell you, but I want you to answer this question first. Name one lie that she engaged in.
What you just stated, that he forcibly tried to whatever.
Okay, and how do you determine that that's a lie?
Because if he forcibly did it, there would be physical bruising, there would be physical things that
No,
have
not
happened to
necessarily.
her if she was.
No, no, not
How
necessarily.
come if you forcibly
Because
try
this,
to do it?
listen, because this is decades later that she came out, right? You understand that, right? Like, for many victims, it takes
So how do you
decades
know
to
she's
come
telling
out.
the truth, Parker?
Listen. For many victims, it takes decades to come out. How do we know? Because there were multiple of her friends that verified that she told them the story at that
They
particular
can
time.
lie.
Therefore, can you please let me finish? Do I need to mute you?
No.
Do you need a baby bottle?
Mm-mm.
Okay, so be quiet. Good boy. So if you want to reference the case, again, there were multiple of her friends that specifically talked about the fact that she had this particular story decades ago, so verifies a consistent story over multiple decades. There was a dress with DNA on it where Trump decided not to give up his DNA over the multiple years allotted that he could have given up his DNA. And in that scenario, again, it would have shown that he wasn't the scene of the crime, but he chose not to do that because it obviously would have incriminated him. We can also point to the fact that there was a psychiatrist that verified psychologist that verified the trauma that she went through. There were other victims that talked about the experiences they had gone through. There were people specifically at Bergdorf Goodman that worked there that talked about how specifically on the floor that they were on, it was likely that there was no one else on that floor at the time in which it happened. There were plenty of verifying elements of this, right? And you don't accept any of it. So name one piece of evidence in the case that you dispute.
Okay, so if you're in a court of law and a woman's
I want an
accuses a
answer to my
man.
question, and then you can make your point. What was my question?
Okay,
Did you even listen?
yeah, I listened to the whole thing about your points about the
So then, what was my
DNA and
question?
the floor.
Cat, think of the flying jets. Thank you so much, Cat. Name. What was my question?
Can you repeat it?
So you didn't listen.
Can you repeat it?
Name one piece of evidence in the case that you dispute.
Her quote unquote friends telling her that it happened. That's not evidence.
You didn't
That's
even
word for word.
you didn't even clarify what actually happened. No, it's that she told them at that time, and it verifies a consistent story over multiple decades. That's not, by the way, that's not a piece of evidence to dispute. You can't dispute that that happened, right? That's a obviously it's them making a claim of they witnessed the being told about this at that time. All it does is justify a consistent story over multiple decades.
Okay, yeah, fair. Okay, fair enough. Maybe it was consistent, and let's say this all did happen. But if you're in a court of law and you have a man and you have a woman sitting there, and the woman purposefully wanted to have S3X with whoever she did, and she said that he raped her. Now, who would win in that court of law, the man or the woman? Most likely, what would happen, Parker?
Most likely in this scenario, the person wouldn't be held accountable. Because
No, the
again,
woman. The
in
woman
most
would win.
scenarios, listen, in most scenarios in which this happens, the abuser is not held accountable, let alone in circumstances in which there's just an accusation. Secondly, again, people aren't just going around just creating false accusations for no reason. That is not a common thing to happen. It is incredibly unlikely, especially when there's 26 plus people that have accused Donald Trump of sexual misconduct. What is the likelihood of every single one of those people lying?
I don't know. Are they Democrats?
That's such an embarrassing thing to say. Can you please just acknowledge what I said? What is the likelihood of over 26 different people accusing Donald Trump of sexual misconduct and every single one of them is lying? It's
I would say it's
infinitesimally
50-50.
for 26 plus people to accuse him of sexual misconduct and for them to all be no, that's not 50-50. It's not even 50-50 if one person is to accuse him because only 2 to 10% of cases are false accusations. Okay, and those are cases specifically brought to the context of the court system, not even taking into account the fact that Donald Trump was held civilly liable. Okay, so this
Okay, but
idea
like,
that you have
what's
in your
the? But
brain
Parker, I'm
that
confused.
it's
What's
50
the
to
evidence
50.
though?
I'm sorry, dude. If there's 26 plus people that have witnessed a certain thing happening, is that evidence to you that it occurred?
No, that's witness. That's word for word.
Okay, I have a question. Are you Christian?
That's witness. Say that again.
Are you Christian?
Yes. Yes, I am.
Do you believe Jesus rose from the dead?
Yes.
What reason do you have to believe that? Is it maybe the people you believe witnessed it?
Yeah, fair enough.
Were there more people that witnessed, e.g., like specifically being sexually assaulted by Donald Trump than there were people that were specifically mentioned or claimed to have witnessed it in the context of the Bible.
It was 500 witnesses.
That's just a claim. I'm talking about individual people. That's like me claiming 500 people saw a floating pig. I'm saying specific people.
I mean,
Okay? And by the way, that's about a miraculous claim about resurrecting from the dead. That's not even about a claim that typically happens within our society. Like, you understand that grape happens in our society. People aren't raising from the dead like a zombie in our society, okay? So if you're going to think that one is more likely to be the case,
okay,
well, then you're going to think that it's going to be the people that have accused Donald Trump of sexual misconduct. You accept witnesses whenever you deem it to be like good for your own position that you feel like is true. You don't accept facts. You put feelings over facts. You don't care about evidence. You don't care about witnesses. You just want
what's
to
the
support
evidence,
Trump
man?
regardless. I already, dude, 26 different people accusing Donald Trump of sexual misconduct is a good enough standard for you to believe it, because you believe with less evidence that Jesus rose from the dead. You believe with less evidence that Jesus rose from the dead.
There's more evidence that he did.
That's just not true. Okay, by the way, Jesus raising from the dead, there is practically no evidence for that, because these were stories.
Israel, listen, Jerusalem.
Let me explain. These were stories passed down word of mouth. You know that, right?
Spoken from the Lord.
Okay, if they were passed down word of mouth for over a generation or two, you understand that's like playing the game of telephone, okay? These weren't written down by the specific people that witnessed it themselves. These were stories passed down to other people through common tales that were talked about between generations, and then it was written down.
Okay, what year is it, Parker? What's the year?
Right now, it's 2025.
Since what? 2025 years ago, since what?
Since what? The beginning of the calendar.
No. Since the beginning of what?
You're trying to say Jesus' life, but
you're basing your calendar off
when was
Christianity.
Jesus born?
Well, we said
what
it's
year
0.
was he born?
It would be 0.
Actually,
80.
Many scholars indicate that it was after that.
Okay, they're scholars. They don't know anything. Scientists and scholars are wrong all the time. They can be wrong. You think they're just always right, Parker?
And by the way, there isn't a year 0. There would be year 1. I just want to clarify.
Okay, sorry.
Year 0 wouldn't make any sense.
Yeah, but you're basing your calendar off since when Jesus was born, so.
No, it's not necessarily that. And even if it was,
do you know the probability that you're here right now?
What? That's again not even a relevant point to bring up. Can you just address my point?
What was your point? Because you just say it 5 minutes.
Yeah, my point is you have better reason to believe all the victims that have accused Donald Trump of sexual misconduct than to believe that Jesus rose from the dead.
Okay, so who's most likely to lie? Okay, you said that it can't pass down from generations from stories. They just made it up.
Who's more likely to lie? A pathological liar that cheated on every single one of his wives and still lies about it to this day? Or the 26 plus people that have accused him of sexual misconduct?
Yeah, really.
You tell me, who's more likely to lie?
You don't. I just think that I don't see any evidence.
You're stunned. You have no response.
It's okay, dude.
Do you have a response? Seriously, what's your response? Who's more likely to lie?
26 people.
You think the 26 plus people are more likely to lie than the pathological liar with 30,000 confirmed lies in his first administration, who cheated on every single one of his wives? Really? Okay, if someone was a serial cheater, would you trust them? Right? To not cheat on you?
It depends on how they've changed.
Okay. So how has Trump demonstrated that he's changed?
Well, let's see. There's no evidence. People just make up make up
of
stuff.
What?
Of that he's sexually assaulted these girls or whatever you want to say.
There is evidence. If witnesses are not
26
evidence,
people is evidence,
wait,
man?
so to clarify, if witnesses are not evidence, then do you think there's any evidence that Jesus rose from the dead?
That's why religion comes to faith, not evidence, bub.
Okay, so you don't believe that there's any evidence, yet you still believe it? So you can believe in religion with no evidence, but you can't believe a victim?
It's different in today's world. I mean, you got to
Why
think
do you
like,
need evidence to believe all these victims, but you don't need evidence to believe that Jesus rose from the dead, turned water into wine, is the Lord and Savior?
okay, well,
And
since you
what
believe
stops
the
you from
26
believing in? And
people,
by the way, what stops you from believing in any other religion based upon that exact same set
since
of
you believe
reasoning?
it, since you believe the 27 victims, why don't you believe 500 witnesses that Jesus rose from the dead?
That's
Rose from the
just a
dead.
it's just a claim of 500 people.
Okay, but like if you believe
There's
27
there's
people
no
that this happened,
individual 500 people. We don't know the names of these people. There's no individual 500 people that have given their own accounts. It's a
name
claim of
27
500
every
people.
27 victim. Name every single victim that was every like
I'm
26
not
plus
going to name
victims.
every single one off the top of my head, but I could give you a list of them. You can't give me a list.
Okay.
Does
Matthew,
that make
Mark,
sense?
Luke, John,
By the way, we don't even know if those are
Acts,
the
Saul.
we don't even know if they were the ones that wrote those particular passages, by the way.
Yeah, but you can't say that you believe 27 people and then not believe, let's say just 12 disciples. Let's go with that. You can't believe 12 people, but you can believe 27. That just makes your logic
You
like
said what?
that doesn't make any sense. That doesn't make any sense because if you can believe 27 people that Trump was liably, whatever for that, whatever he did, I don't know about Carol, you can't. Why can't you believe that Jesus Christ rose from the dead if there's eyewitnesses
One,
too?
it's a claim
Like you're
of 500
believing an
people.
eyewitness
Two, we
testimony
don't
from
have
other people.
firsthand accounts of these stories. Again, the stories were passed on word of mouth. And then three, it's a miracle. Okay?
How
Miracles
else were they
by
supposed to be passed
definition.
down, Parker?
Listen to what I'm saying before you cut me off. I will mute you every single time you speak if you do it again. Stop. I'm trying to explain it to you right now. Plus, miracles are the least likely thing to possibly occur. When we're looking at history, we're looking for what's the most likely thing to occur, what has the best evidence to indicate what happened. If it's a miracle, by definition, it can't be the most likely thing to have occurred unless there's only one logically possible explanation. Since there's more than one logically possible explanation, it is impossible for us, based upon the evidence, to accept that a miracle happened, because miracles, by definition, again, are the least possible thing to occur.
Okay, so would you say that you have faith that this? Okay, so I see
I'm
what
not
you're saying though.
religious.
Like I genuinely do. But like, okay, so what would you? How would you know that this happened to Trump? You would say evidence, correct?
How do we know that Trump did this? Because of evidence, yes. I think it is
Okay, so if we go down,
it is significantly more likely to have occurred rather than to not have occurred, especially because the likelihood in which it would be the case that over 26 plus people lied about the set of circumstances about sexual assault. Again, it is unlikely in of itself for people to lie about that. Already unlikely.
so you say that there. If you say there's unlikely, then there's still a chance that they're lying.
Hey, how about this? I ate food earlier. Do you believe me?
Yeah.
Isn't it possible I didn't? What evidence do you have that I did? Is it because I'm trustworthy? Is it because it's
You have food in your
unlikely
teeth.
that I'm lying? Huh. It sounds like that's enough evidence for you in this scenario, but it's not enough evidence for you in the scenario that we just brought up with 26 plus people accusing Donald Trump of sexual misconduct, let alone someone holding him liable in a civil court for sexual abuse. Yet him
Yeah,
also
but
bragging about sexually exploiting women and girls, right? Literally, an 18-year-old came out to there were 4 girls as young as 15 years old in these changing rooms when Donald Trump would barge in. We can also point to the fact that he said he would date a 10-year-old girl in 10 years. He sexualized his daughter on countless occasions. That heavily increases the likelihood that this happened.
I mean, if he's liable, then that means he's not proven that he did it.
Wait, one, that it's proven based upon the standard in a civil court, genius. So yes, it is proven in a civil court. Secondly, you're not taking into account any of the other pieces of evidence that I just mentioned. It is so likely that this happened, and you're not even responding to any of these pieces of evidence. You are just simply restating that, oh, you just don't believe it. So what standard of evidence would you believe?
I mean, if a video,
You'd only
evidence
believe
of
that
them
someone got
walking in there,
sexually...
evidence
So by the
evidence
way,
of physical altercations on her body. That's evidence. Evidence is when you know something for a fact.
So one second.
Not that you're.
So you wouldn't believe it unless there are physical marks on their body and or there's a video. Okay, so if your daughter told you that she was sexually assaulted by someone, and it is the case that there was no video and no bruises on her body, would you believe her?
I don't know.
You don't know? You don't know if you would believe your daughter in that scenario? You wouldn't believe your daughter
Yeah,
because
because
she's
you
trustworthy, because it's unlikely that she would lie to you about something like that? Why wouldn't you believe your daughter in that scenario? One, you'd be a bad dad. Two, you're being unreasonable. And three, if you
I would
look at the
figure it
level
out.
of trustworthiness, then you obviously know that the pathological liar is significantly less trustworthy than E. Jean Carroll, significantly less trustworthy than the 26 plus people that have accused him of sexual misconduct. The idea that you have in your head that he is not someone who has committed this is only out of the fact that you are going to come up here and defend a predator regardless. And you don't need evidence that
I'm
he's
not
telling
defending
the
the
truth.
predator.
You never once asked for evidence that what he was saying was true. You only asked for evidence for what E. Jean Carroll said was true. You only asked for evidence that the victims that have accused him of sexual misconduct of what they said was true. You never asked for evidence for what he said was true.
Okay.
Why don't you put
So
the same
if-
level of
what-
skepticism on him as you put on the victims?
What would you say that the evidence would be?
What would I say? I already told you, and you just apparently can't remember.
You said DNA. You said DNA. Victims. And what else?
If that's all you can take from this conversation, I should kick you and go on to the next person because your comprehension skills are absolutely dog shit.
What was the third one? I'm trying to get the third one down, dude.
There was a lot more than 3, silly goose.
No, but those weren't evidence, man. You're giving
There's no angel. Yes, this is. What is evidence? Can you define evidence for me?
that you know for a fact or it leads up to something.
Know for a fact. Again, you have to define this for us. Know for a fact that something is true.
If it either leads.
Okay, let me clarify. What is a fact then?
A fact?
Yes.
It's true.
Okay. So let me clarify. Evidence is something that points towards something being true. Okay? So it would be like something that increases the likelihood of something being true. That's what a piece of evidence is. Okay? So
Okay.
what I just mentioned were all pieces of evidence that indicate this to be true. Okay?
So wouldn't you say that it's evidence that there's a tomb where Jesus laid?
There was a tomb, but we don't necessarily know that Jesus was the one that was in a specific tomb. We don't know which tomb they were in. We also don't even have evidence that he was in a tomb in the first place, because oftentimes at that time period, they would just leave them on the cross to decompose. That's actually what was most likely to happen at that time period. Was there video of this happening? Do you
Well,
know?
that's kind of inconsiderate to say.
Oh, is it? Was it not inconsiderate
yeah, it
for you to
happened.
say that when in reference to victims? You
I mean,
only say
wasn't
it's
there video and
inconsiderate-
security cameras
You
back
only
then?
say it's inconsiderate when I say it, but you never said it was inconsiderate when you said it. It's ironic that you just said that, because then you just consider
no.
your own
How
basis
is
for
that-
that inconsiderate.
So I asked for video. How long ago was it?
No, yeah,
ca- the
I know
ca-
it was
the
before
case
there was
you-
the ability to get
True.
video. I'm not disputing that. But the point that I would make is that,
Yeah.
again, for many victims, it's impossible for them to get a video. What do you want them to pull out their phone while it's happening? What the fuck are you talking about?
That's not what I
No,
said.
what are you laughing at? I'm serious. That is such a fucking absurd thing for you to say. It is
You
so
said pull out their
inconsiderate.
phone.
It is so inconsiderate for you to say that about
You
victims.
said that it's inconsiderate because there's video cameras that were at every angle. That you said that they were at the top floor. What if there be
there's
video?
not. At that time period, there were not video cameras there. That's actually what the people testified who worked there said. There were not video cameras. There weren't people on that particular floor. It was likely that it would have been empty at that particular time period. So actually, if you want to talk about asking for a video, there weren't cameras in these dressing rooms in these scenarios. So the idea that you have in your head that it's inconsiderate for me to ask for camera footage of this scenario because they wouldn't have cameras in that particular instance, well, then it would be inconsiderate for you to do the exact same thing when they didn't have cameras in that particular instance. Why are you using this double standard? Why don't you acknowledge that what you said was clearly inconsiderate?
Okay, so when were security cameras invented?
I'm not saying that they weren't invented. I just said that they weren't in the particular building on that floor.
That's okay. So like, there's no security cameras that were outside of the building of them walking in or walking down the sidewalk
No,
or parking in.
no.
Nothing at all.
By the way, this
Okay.
was across the street from Trump's tower.
So there was definitely security cameras in Trump's tower.
That wouldn't him leaving Trump Tower wouldn't indicate this. Plus, they wouldn't give us that footage, and that doesn't indicate anything. So we're talking about in Bergdorf Goodman. There wasn't cameras in Bergdorf Goodman. And
Okay,
also,
so
this is from the 90s, so the likelihood that they would even have that on database is probably low as well.
yeah, but okay, so you said that it's unlikely though for 27 people to be lying. So there's still a chance that they could lie because you said unlikely.
Yeah, it is incredibly unlikely. It is so unlikely. It's so infinitesimally small that like the point you would bring that up is just ridiculous. That's like saying it is possible. It is logically possible that actually every person you've ever met in your life is not real and that you're just a brain in a vat that's being fed experiences. Okay? That is logically possible. Okay? It is not likely at all. Therefore, it would be absurd for you to believe that to be true. Okay? So why are you basing that on just because it's possible that every single person has lied in existence, right? That doesn't mean that it's true.
All right, man. I mean, I don't want to go down. I'm not really educated on this type of thing, but I mean, I was trying to talk about DI, but I get what you're saying. I totally understand what you're saying. We should believe.
Who is more likely to be right? The 26 plus people that have accused him of sexual misconduct or the pathological liar that still lies all the time?
I just don't think. Okay, I would believe if that happened in this instance, I would believe the 26 people, but I do not think that he's a pathological liar. Now I would use.
Wait, you're just lying.
Now I would use.
You're lying yourself. I can prove to you he's a pathological liar. You want me to do that? He still lies to this day and says he won the 2020 election. He still lies about the fact that he cheated on his ex-wife, even though he literally...
Yeah, because the ballots that were thrown away from him in Virginia.
Stop. I meant cheated on his current wife, right? Even though literally he paid Stormy Daniels hush money, okay? There's evidence that he's lied in these scenarios. He has 30,000 confirmed lies or misleading statements in his first administration. I can give you so many different things that indicate this guy's a pathological liar.
Okay.
And anything else you want to address for that? Because again, it sounds like you shouldn't support Trump. Because again, you said that you wouldn't support Trump if he were held civilly liable of sexual abuse. One, he was held civilly liable of sexual abuse. Two, you have really good reason to believe it. Right? So please, address this. You don't support Trump anymore,
but you
right?
can't. No, I mean, I do, dude. I mean, I just
so
if
you would support Trump
reliably,
if he were, so you would support Trump if he were held civilly liable of sexual
like,
abuse?
quit putting words in my mouth, Parker.
I'm asking you a question. I'm not putting words in your mouth. I'm asking you a question, genius.
No. Yeah. So if he was proven and that this act, like, if it was proven,
it was,
this
and you don't even
happened.
accept it. He was held civilly liable in a civil court, and you still don't accept it.
So why isn't he in jail if this happened?
Because of statute of limitations on criminal cases that say after a certain amount of years you can't try someone in a criminal court, regardless of the amount of evidence.
Okay, I have to do more research on it. If I do more research on it, then
you don't need to do more research. I've already given you enough reason to believe this to be true. You're going to deny this to the very end because you're a cult. You're literally a cult member. Okay, you'll support Trump no matter what. Is there anything Trump could do that would get you to stop supporting him?
The reason that you gave me just there.
Okay, so then you don't support him anymore, right?
No, I do.
You see what I mean?
Because I'm a cult member. I'm gonna do my research. I'm gonna do my research.
Yeah, and I guarantee you're not gonna do the research. I would so bet that. I would so bet that. I doubt you're gonna do the research. I'm so serious. I think you're just gonna be like, oh, Parker's a grifter. I don't even care to look that one up.
Like, okay, man. I mean, you're saying.
By the way, you don't need to do more research to determine this to be true. I've given you all the information that you need. I'm serious. That's how I know you're not going to do the research. That's how I know that no research would change your mind, because I've given you enough information to make the determination. There's nothing else you could look at on the internet right now that would change your mind. Literally nothing else that you could point to and you could look at that you could ever see that would change your mind, right? Because one, you're not going to do the research. Two, right, you don't care because I've given you all the information you need.
I mean, I do care. I literally
It's
just told you I'm
so
open about
likely
it.
to be true that Donald Trump did this. It's so unlikely to be true that he didn't do this.
Okay, but like you, okay, look, man, look. Let me talk for a second.
Go ahead.
You said it's unlikely for them that this did not happen, and that it's likely that it did. So you cannot give your 100% proof fact that he did this. You can't be 100% on something that you're unlikely about. That does not make any sense, man.
Does your mom love you?
So some part of you tells you that he
Hey, does
actually
your
may
mom
not
love
have done
you?
this.
Does your mom love you?
Yes.
It's possible she doesn't. How do you know?
She gave birth to me and she raised me my whole life.
That doesn't, wait, again, but it's still possible even though that's the case that she doesn't love you, right?
Okay, so so everything's unlikely.
Wait, no, based upon your reasoning here, because it's possible that she doesn't love you, means that you don't have good enough reason to believe that she does love you, right?
Okay, so then therefore your logic is that everybody is unlikely.
No, you're not listening, right? I believe that you have a trustworthy reason to believe your mom in that scenario, and then it's unlikely that she would lie about that, okay? So even though it's possible she doesn't love you, I'm saying all the best evidence indicates that she does, probably. Even though that's very hard
Yeah,
to do.
but like you can't. So if you said that there's 100% evidence and there's 100% proof that he did do this,
Wait.
you can't
You
be
don't need
unlikely.
100%
That's
evidence because there's not 100% evidence that your mom loves you, and yet you still believe it. You still think it's true,
okay. Well,
even though there's not
obviously disagreeing my whole
100%
life, I'll put it on the
evidence.
table. She
You know,
put,
I think we should all just say that his mom doesn't love
you
him.
don't need 100% evidence for everything,
Your
buddy.
mom doesn't love you.
Thanks, man. That's love coming from the left side.
No, I'm just telling you, like, based upon your reasoning here, you don't have good
Thanks.
reason to believe that. You are unreasonable in believing that your mom loves you.
And to be straightforward with everybody in this live, I do not support Gray in that I support 100%
Wait,
true
can
evidence
you
of this is
acknowledge
gonna
my
happen.
point? Like, what's the
I'm
point
just
I'm
putting that out
making?
there right now.
When
Like,
I
I do
say
not
that,
support it whatsoever.
hey, listen, when I say what I just said, what am I trying to tell you?
That everything is unlikely. That's what you're trying to tell me.
No, what I'm trying to tell you is that just because it's possible that something like this is the case, like that it is the case that your mom doesn't love you, does not mean that you believe that, because you don't need 100% evidence to believe things to be true. The standard of 100% evidence is an unreasonable standard to hold. And that's what I'm demonstrating with this example.
So why not believe in God, Parker?
Because there's not enough evidence.
So if religion is based on not evidence and faith, that just means you have lack of faith.
Yeah, I don't believe things without evidence. Evidence means things that increase the likelihood of something being true. Okay? If there's nothing increasing the likelihood of it being true from 0% or even 1%, why would I accept it? There's no good reason. There's no good reason to accept one religion over the other. There are thousands of different religions. What tells you that yours is right and all of the other ones are wrong if your only standard is just you choose to believe it? Because a lot of other people choose to believe in other religions. Because one came back to life. Wait, are you saying evidence? One came back to life. Are you saying evidence? Because there's been other people who have claimed to have resurrected historically. You know that, right? And you don't believe that they resurrected from the dead.
Yeah, I mean, fair enough, but like I believe in that. If I see 500 people witness something back in the old days, if they witnessed and they saw,
it's not even 500
I would believe
people
that
specifically.
They wrote it down.
It's
they
a
believe
claim.
what they saw.
Dude, it's not even 500 people. It's a claim of 500 people.
Do you have a certain number then?
No, dude,
you
listen. If you actually read the Bible, which you clearly haven't, it just says that there was 500 people. It doesn't give any individual accounts of that.
So how many people?
How many people? I don't think that there's any legitimate firsthand witnesses. But are there claims of firsthand witnesses in terms of the descriptions from like the gospel, for example? Yes, there are descriptions and claims about seeing Jesus resurrect, but there is not firsthand accounts that we can point to that are specific, right? That are written by the people in which experienced them.
Okay. I'm gonna come back and I'm gonna debate you later on, and I'm gonna beat you.
So you admit
I'm
you
gonna be
did beat me
smarter.
right now. Secondly, you still have yet to
You defeat it.
acknowledge that you do have enough reason to believe that Donald Trump is a predator and has assaulted women, and that you shouldn't support him. And by the way, the standard I asked you earlier is, would you vote for someone held civilly liable of sexual abuse? He was held civilly liable, so regardless of whether or not you think that it was true based upon the civil liability claim, it doesn't change the reality that he was held civilly liable. Therefore, you should still not support him because you said you wouldn't support someone or vote for them if they were held civilly liable of sexual abuse.
So would you support that if an old man sniffed a kid? Would you
Would I
support that? Yes or
support
no?
Joe? Would I support Joe Biden over Donald Trump if he sniffed his grandkid's head? Yes,
Wasn't
because
a grandkid,
I
it was
don't think that's
grandkids.
comparable to Donald Trump sexualizing his kid. I don't think that's comparable to Donald Trump perving on women and girls and bragging about it. I don't think that's comparable to Donald Trump being held civilly liable of sexual abuse. I
So
don't think
because
that's
Trump did
comparable
something
to
worse,
so many different things that Donald Trump has done.
so because Trump did something worse doesn't mean that Biden. It doesn't matter what Biden did.
I'm not saying it doesn't matter. I'm just saying that there's such a distinction between them that it would mean that we should support Biden over Trump.
So, all right, man.
Like, if that's the best you got, you had to literally reach back to, what about Biden? In order to be able to respond to what I'm having to say here, you clearly know you've lost. You clearly have nothing to stand on. You're grasping for straws.
I'm not grasping for Charles, man. I mean, you said if there's videos of Biden like in personal bubbles of kids, and then you said grandchildren, which is not true, and then you said, well, but Trump did something
Well, it
worse,
was
which
his
makes him
grandchild. I
the
think in the
bad
other scenario
person.
that you're referencing, it was
In
like
what world
one
does
of
that
his
make
friend's
Biden a good
kids
person?
in another scenario, which they said that there was nothing wrong with it, right, by the way. And again, in that scenario, not even comparable, and doesn't even indicate sexualization at all. But is it like a little bit weird? Sure, yeah. Like if it's someone else's kid, like yeah, sure, you could say that. But bro, come on.
Yeah.
What is
So
this
that means you
comparison?
support sniffing kids.
What's that?
So that means
No,
you
I
support
didn't.
sniffing kids.
No, I didn't. I didn't say that. But like again, I'm just saying that it's not even comparable.
Okay, well, I didn't say I
I
support
said
Greg, and then now you're
the
telling me
most it could be
I
here is
support it.
weird. The most it could be here is weird. Genuinely, that's the most it could be in this context.
Okay, yeah, fair enough. But like, just like if you support Biden and then he sniffed a kid, that doesn't mean you sniff kids, man.
Yeah, no one said that you have assaulted women because of this. We're just saying that you support someone and support the exact reasoning that protects predators. And I'm saying actually, I
I don't
think you,
support.
listen, I'm saying this, and maybe this is different than other people, but I don't think that you actually support this. And I think right now, you're just so ingrained into the cult, you're so misled that you legitimately do not believe that this happened. And I'm telling you, there's so much evidence to believe that this happened that you should not buy the bullshit, misleading statements from the Trump administration and from Donald Trump himself. He's lying to you. I'm not lying to you. I'm giving you evidence. I'm explaining things to you. I'm showing you how to critically think about it into self introspect on your own thoughts. And I'm giving you a basis for that. And they're just lying to you.
All right, man. Okay. All right, I'm gonna end the conversation here, man. I appreciate your conversation with you,
Alrighty.
Parker. I really do
Alrighty.
appreciate it.
Alrighty.
Yeah.
I hope you change your mind. I hope you change your mind.